So, in this video we're going to talk about the psychological impacts of a disability that many people don't realise the little things that can cause problems for those with disabilities in terms of mentally rather than physically. Just to point out before I start the video, this video is purely based on my experiences and my opinions. No offence is meant to anyone. If you don't agree with what I say, it's perfectly fine. I'm not trying to offend anyone. Just putting that out there. Anyway, on with the video. Psychological impacts that some people don't realise disabled people have in their day-to-day life and how certain situations can affect them. So the first point I want to bring up is disabled people feeling guilty towards able-bodied people because they feel like they're holding them back. Now, a couple of examples to this would be, for example, let's say my mates want to go skiing and they bring up the idea to me, but then after thinking about it I then realise it's going to be difficult for me or I can't do it. Then I'm going to feel like I'm holding them back from doing something they want to do, and then you feel like you're a negative impact on their life and more of like a bad friend. Now, this also runs over into not just friendships, but in terms of relationships as well. In terms of, for me, when I'm with my girlfriend personally, you do occasionally feel guilty because you feel like you're stopping them doing things, or you rely on them too much with the things that you need help with, and then you're negatively impacting their life, making their life difficult, causing the mental process of you thinking, oh no, they'd be better off with someone who was able-bodied, in terms of both friends and relationships. Now obviously this is a mental process that, I'm sorry, I can't fix, no one can fix, you're going to have it for a while. But one thing I want to point out is, although you might think that and you're thinking the worst of every situation, most individuals outside of your little bubble, inside your head, are thinking differently or not in that extreme. Obviously there are some people that think like that, but you'd be surprised how often your friends will point out to you, you're being an idiot, don't worry about it. But then again, it's also important to talk about it and not bottle it up, because I think that was where my main issue came from. Point number two I'm going to bring is the whole aspect of, in terms of people helping those with disabilities, in terms of you can go between two extremes. You can go to overly helping them, making them feel like they are less of you or less of a person, which then obviously makes us puts us on edge and puts our thought process on edge as well. Or there's the other extreme where you do not reference our disability, which, okay, all disabled people want, but to a certain extent, because you still want to understand their needs and what they need to, obviously, to be a good friend really. And I think a lot of people strive for this middle ground. Now the problem with this middle ground is it's different for everyone else. I was quite lucky in the respect of, with my friends, we spent a lot of time together, they spent a lot of time with me, learnt with me, and then obviously you develop that middle ground. This middle ground doesn't just appear, and I feel like some people this is where the confusion comes in. Whenever someone who's not around disabilities goes to help someone with a disability, it becomes difficult because they hesitate or they overly help, or it's just, the situation is difficult. And I think the main thing, the issue that's going to fix this, is literally spending time with the person, talking to the person and understanding what issues they have and what they feel comfortable with and how they want to be treated, rather than just jumping headfirst into something or just running away from it. Now obviously this again will cause issues inside a disabled person mentally, because we kind of feel like there's that hesitation to go help or go be their friend or just be around them. Like, people feel very uncomfortable. Now obviously my theory to tackling the uncomfortableness is literally, I tend to open it with a joke about me. Obviously, as you guys have seen from the channel, I'm very light-hearted about my disability, and I take the approach of, if I open with a joke, they know how I am towards my disability and they'll automatically become more comfortable around me because I'm that open about it. Now obviously not everyone has this approach, because some people aren't comfortable with that and they'd rather you don't talk about disability, and I find that this is normally with those who have come into their disabilities later in life rather than those who are born with it, because it was more of a shock factor, so they're still adjusting mentally to their circumstances. Whereas I've spent my whole life like this, so I've had a lot of time to adjust. Now that isn't to say that everyone who's been born with a disability or had it for a long time is like me. Again, it's just my opinion, and yeah, that's the second point I was going to bring up. And point number 3 is the point of, and due to obviously all these negative impacts towards those with disabilities, obviously this is changing over time with things like the Olympics and everything else, but due to this negative thought process of most disabled people, not most, actually most is the wrong word, of some disabled people, the issue then comes in that they drag that mental state into other areas of their life when it comes to stuff like situations such as jobs, working to try and find jobs, things like going to clubs and things like that, and going to school and doing well in school and stuff like that. They then bring in the negative thought process towards that. So, i.e., a good example would be you feeling like you aren't going to do well in your results for school due to you finding that teachers treat you differently, meaning you're not getting help. Obviously this hasn't actually happened to me, but this is the sort of thought process that some disabled people go through, and also in the case of jobs as well, if people say no to you, you sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, you sometimes automatically go to the thought of, oh, it's because of the wheelchair, when in real life it's probably not, but due to the other situations and things disabled people are exposed to, they automatically go to that thought process because they try and find something that makes them different to everyone else, and that's the point that they will come back to. Now obviously, again, this isn't towards everyone's different, so that is just my opinion, and I know that this personally happens to me, so you're not alone if you are watching this going, I do that, I do all 3, or I do. And to finish off, the point I want to bring up for the last point is the fact of whenever, say if you're an able-bodied person watching this, and you know someone with a disability and you're friends with them, or you're starting to become friends with them, I really want to stress to you, don't treat it as in it's Joe the disabled person or Frankie the disabled person. It's literally, it's Frankie or it's Joe, and they're a person, and the better friend, and this goes for anyone, if you know a friend better, you obviously become better friends with them. Same goes with those with disabilities. Obviously with a disability there is more to learn, but anyone can learn it. This isn't a special thing. You don't need to be a special person, you don't need to be a really caring person, and you being a friend with a disabled person doesn't necessarily make you a better person. It makes you a real life person in terms of you don't see it, they're just a person. It doesn't give you a card that you play against other people, because I have seen that done in the past. Now obviously I know most of you watching this aren't people like that because you're watching my channel, but it's another point that I wanted to bring up. And again, like I said, treat them as in they're people, because we are, that's it. The wheelchair doesn't come into it, the frame doesn't come into it, the false arm doesn't come into it. It doesn't matter what their disability is, it doesn't come into it, you just need to learn. It's the same as learning someone's favourite foods, favourite drinks, favourite things to do. It's the same as that, it's just what they need. Same as goes for if your friend is sad, you obviously want to cheer them up. Same goes for the disability. Now obviously this video has been quite heavy. I know we normally do something a bit more cheery on this channel, but again I do want to touch upon the more serious subjects because they are close to my heart, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it, and that's where the issue comes in. So that's why I produce these videos, and this is why I've created this channel. Again, we are leaning away from fitness for a bit due to just differentiating and making it interesting for you guys. And again, I'm not just focusing on fitness, I'm focusing on disabled people as a whole, and trying to improve that and trying to bring something fresh to YouTube and something a bit new. So that was the hope of this video. If you like the video, like the video. If you comment, let me know what you think. Let me know if you've experienced anything else. If you have any questions, drop a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.